Pain is in the building.
Yo, what's up guys? Network here. So today we got some Rogue Priest 2v2 games. This is where it all started. This has kind of been the whole basis of my channel is Network and Johnny Tsunami. And I just kind of want to go over some games we played the first couple weeks of the season, go over compositions, maybe I can help out some people, with their strategies and what they do, especially if you're Alliance. So in this situation, I pop Perception against Rogue Mage, of course, early on. I find the Rogue. Mage pulls me, which, isn't a huge deal. I'm just going to Vanish, Cheap Shot, Rupture. And I don't think this Rogue has very good gear or much resilience because he just almost dies, like just in a cheap shot. So in this situation, I'm going to have Johnny run at the Rogue, and then I'm just kind of going to deal with the Mage on my own. I use my Cloak, I get on top of the Mage, I force block. I'm just going to kill the pet because in this situation, he's going to be the only one doing damage. I should have started killing him earlier, but I kind of assumed the Mage might come out or Johnny might MD, but he didn't, so I blind Mage, and I'm going to kite using the pillar. So he's unable to get to me, I'm able to get a re-stealth, and the Rogue is getting absolutely mongoed on by Johnny Tsunami. That's just the name of the game with this guy. So he's going to kill the Rogue. I was playing with the Mage, and the game's over. So it's kind of how Rogue Mage can go if you're able to get a good opener on the Rogue, and especially if he doesn't have great gear. I think this is one of our first 20 games, so it's not saying these guys aren't amazing, but it's just kind of an idea of what you do against Rogue Mage. Alright, so in this game we got Rogue Priest versus Rogue Priest. It's super important to try to trade saps or sap MD. In this game, Johnny's going to be able to get his MD off while the Priest is sapped. I'm able to sap Rogue, and it's a super ideal opener, but my cheap shot resists. If my cheap shot doesn't resist, we literally get the Priest trinket and potentially the Rogue's trinket almost immediately. So he's going to trinket my blind anyway. Johnny gets a Fear on Will of the Forsaken. I'm then just going to trinket the blind because in this situation, I know I need to go help Johnny here in a second and peel this Rogue. So we have Rogue's trinket. We got Will of Forsaken on the Rogue, but the Priest still has trinket and Will of Forsaken. So that's kind of an issue, but we'll work through it and we'll make it happen, and hopefully we get the dub here. So I'm going to start shivving on Wound before Priest gets here because my crippling's still on him. I'll cheap shot, then try to range the Fear. Priest only fears me, so Johnny's able to dispel me almost immediately. I then kidney the Rogue. Now the Priest is just spamming a G-heal in front of me, which honestly in this situation it's fine. He does it into a 5-stack of Wound. I'm going to shiv Priest because I don't really want him going anywhere. I see that he Shadow Fiends, so I use Evasion. Evasion and Power Word Shield are going to definitely help make sure the other Priest doesn't get mana back, which is really important against Rogue Priest. And that's something that you guys should always remember, that you always kind of want to either kite the Fiend, especially on Blade's Edge, you can jump off, or use a Power Word Shield and or Evasion. So we get a Pain Suppression here. I'm keeping my wound up. We have 5 wound on the Rogue. It's super important, guys. Always pay attention to that. That's something, as a beginner Rogue, I'll say that understanding how to shiv and swap weapons to keep your wound up are going to be the only thing that you should be focusing on besides being able to cheap shot kidney. So he was able to fear me like the last second of my wound. It falls off, but you're able to shiv on quickly. I got 5 wound up. And then I got crippling up. I'm then going to try to get a re-stealth here. Johnny helps me. He gets a little chastise. I'm going to get a re-stealth on top of this guy. We'll get a cheap shot into a kidney. And honestly, this Rogue is going to be taking so much damage that it's going to be hard to keep him up. The other Priest is and we're super far ahead in mana. And in this situation, the Rogue's forced to blind me. Johnny's going to kind of chase to try to keep him in combat, but the Rogue's dying to my bleed and the dot. He gets a cloak, fears Johnny. That's unfortunate, but I'm just going to be able to get a little re-stealth, Garrote, Rupture. I didn't want him to get away. I saw he was already dead. I could have cheap shotted too, but his trinket was about to come back up. And that's kind of how Rogue Priest can be played. Warrior Druid, guys. It's what the people want. It's what all the new subscribers ask about. Let's do it. Let's put it in the video. All right, we put it in the video. So we play Warrior Druid a little bit different. My goal is to have Johnny try to get to the midway of Blade's Edge, so before I open, but this warrior gets like 6 imp hamstrings on him, and it's a super realistic play, right? So I'm going to wait till blooms are at like 2 or 3 seconds. I'm going to cheap shot here. I'll gouge. In this situation, he has no hots up. He has bark skin with like half of it left, and I have full energy. So I'm actually just going to shiv on wound in this situation. I blind. We have 3 wound up. He immediately trinkets, and if he doesn't trinket that, he's going to have an issue. So my Priest is going to be here. He'll be able to fear, and then I could potentially even sap out, and he's going to have to trinket something. Johnny's going to be able to get here. Cheap shots off DR. So in this situation, I cheap shot. I mess up, though. I should have my weapon chain on, and I don't. So I swap back to it because that's the one with my wound poison on it. I start shivving. We get belt. I groat because you can groat when you're disarmed. I'm going to trinket this full kidney. He has no trinket. There's no way he lives there. And that's kind of how we beat Warrior Druid. If you see here, I'll go for a re-stealth, and I'll get the biggest resist on cheap shot, and that's why I don't fuck with killing orc warriors. That's just kind of how I feel. So I know there's ways to beat this comp by going warrior, but going druid works for us. So this is an interesting one. I've never had someone rage quit like as the game starts, but in this situation, I sap the rogue. It's a good opener for us. We clean the rogue. Not much you can do in this situation, so I'm just going to open the rogue. We'll do a cheap shot and do a gouge. The priest is still putting buffs on him, of course. Johnny's cleaning it. I kidney off of this. We get some really good pressure on the opener, truthfully. It's a good start for us. And, you know, the rogue's going to have to then go me, so he cheap shots me, pops his DPS trinket, blinds my priest. I'm just going to be able to run away. I blind the rogue. I think he trinkets it. Yeah, he trinkets the blind, and I get a re-stealth on top of him. He gets pulled out by my priest, and right here, he's over it. So that was an interesting game, and we'll go to the next one. Alright guys, it's going to be the last clip of this video. It's Rogue Warlock versus Rogue Priest. We're going to trade saps. I sapped the Rouge, and my Priest gets sapped. So in this situation, you want to let your Priest try to get away. I'm going to sap the Rogue again. Johnny gets feared towards me, which helps, but now he's on DR, which is kind of helpful. I'll open the Rogue with a cheap shot. The Warlock's really good. He's able to coil me. Johnny's spell luck, so he cannot dispel me on coil. They're then going to open me. So that was pretty smooth. I trinket immediately to get the Rogue trinket with my blind. I pretend to run at the Warlock, even though I know I'm going to kill the Rogue. He steps me. He prep vanishes. And in this situation, I have a vanish still. The Rogue has no trinket. And once he's off cheap shot DR, he is going to be dead mon. So I'm going to vanish on top of him. I get a big cheap shot on him. We'll go into a kidney. The Warlock's going to try and peel me. I get feared. I don't know how he's able to fear me. That should be LOS, but it's all good. We keep pumping the Rogue. He belts. Johnny hits a big fear, dispels the belt because it's Johnny. Like, what do you expect? And the game should be over. So that's kind of how we play against Rogue Lock. It's super nice if, you know, I can get a sap, of course. And being a human, you usually can get a sap. So that's just the way these games can go. Yo guys, I just want to say thank you again. I never really thought my channel was going to even be close to this, let alone be at 800 subs in a couple months. But it's kind of unreal to me. I was a strength conditioning coach for 4 years. I've always kind of been a mentor to people. I was always that person who likes helping other people. You know, I don't do this for money. I do this for fun. And it's really cool. So I just, like I said, I want to say thank you. I appreciate all of the subscribers. I appreciate all of the likes. It's just so, it's surreal to me, truthfully. So hope you guys have a great week. Peace.